Jordan Conradson with the Gateway Pundit. I'm here with OMB official Jeff Clark, who was indicted in Georgia over the 2020 election. So, Mr. Clark, can you tell us a little bit about an update on that case? What's going on? You know, we recently had this bombshell FBI memo release about foreign interference in the 2020 election. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Sure. So, look, first thing I react when you ask me about this, Jordan, is like, don't remind me. But that case down in Georgia is still technically going on, although it's essentially in an abeyance because Fani Willis was disqualified from working on the case by the Georgia Intermediate Appellate Court, and that happened a number of months back, and by a 2-to-1 vote. But Fani Willis didn't take that lying down. She has filed a cert petition with the Georgia Supreme Court, which remains pending. She's trying to get herself undisqualified. So, as I stand here, that case is still live, and all the people who were indicted there, as you noted, including President Trump, including Mark Meadows, including John Eastman, and myself, Rudy Giuliani, we're all still in that case.
So that's still going on, but I want to talk about your new role at OMB. You guys are working on getting this big, beautiful bill passed through the Congress, the Senate right now. Tell us about the importance of that.
Well, that's obviously of critical importance, Jordan. We can't have what would be the largest tax increase on President Trump's watch, and working assiduously to get that passed. I believe it will pass. My colleagues on the budget side, so think of OMB really as having three, like a tripod I'm looking at now with your camera set up, right? There are three legs of it. One is the management side that does things like work on personnel policies, contracts, things like that. Then there's the budget side, the B in OMB, which is what you raise in terms of the big, beautiful bill. And then there's the regulatory side, which is actually what I do. So I am the head of the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs, or as it's called, OIRA. And so all of the regulations from the federal government, and it now includes, after a new presidential executive order from President Trump, all of the independent agencies, as well as what I would call the traditional executive branch agencies. And so we're striking back against the fact that, starting in the 1880s actually, but even really taking off in the New Deal, we've had all these alphabet soup agencies that were set up to try to be independent from the president. I think that's unconstitutional, flatly. So this executive order tries to bring them back into the fold, and their regulations have to be reviewed by OMB's own.
That's great. So it's going to essentially rein in the bureaucracy and stop the rogue bureaucrats.
Yes, I mean the reason why I think the kind of founders of the administrative state in the Democrat Party, people like the Harvard Law Dean Landis, tried to design a system like this, is that they want government by experts, and we saw actually a lot of shade being thrown yesterday in the Tennessee case by the Supreme Court, especially Justice Thomas. Who's just a great, fantastic justice, that we don't want to be ruled by experts. This is not the system that the framers gave us, right? The legitimacy of the presidency is in the election by the people through the Electoral College of the President of the United States. It's not multi-member bodies that are trying to be set up so they're insulated from the president. We don't want anyone to be insulated from the president. That's why the president got elected, Jordan.
That's right. It's the same thing with COVID. It's the same thing with the elections. All they scream is trust the experts, trust the science, trust the FBI and CISA saying it was the most secure election in history. Well, Mr. Clark, thank you so much for speaking to me.
Thanks a lot, and I'm tracking what's going on in terms of the new info released from the FBI to Senator Grassley about what happened with China mass producing ballots, and then those ballots being intercepted is just one example in Chicago. Very important development, and